Hey everyone, today let's know about some of the fascinating facts on Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. Let's start the video, but before that I request you to subscribe to the channel and like this video so that I can bring more exciting ones like this. We learned one thing and which forever touched on our fears about what can go wrong when people play God. Let's begin. Mary Wollstonecraft Godwin ran away at the age of 16 with the poet Percy Bysshe Shelley, and over the next 2 years she gave birth to 2 children. In 1816, the couple, accompanied by Godwin's stepsister Claire Clairmont, travelled to Switzerland and visited Lord Byron at Villa Diodati. While there, 18-year-old Mary started Frankenstein. It was published in 1818 when she was 20 years old. Godwin and Shelley visited Switzerland during the April 1815 eruption of Mount Tambora in modern Indonesia, which caused severe climate abnormalities and a lot of rain. Stuck inside, the group read ghost stories from the book Phantasmagoriana. It was then that Lord Byron proposed that they have a competition to see who could come up with the best ghost story. Byron, Mary, Percy, and Byron's physician John Polidori participated. In the end, neither Byron nor Percy finished a ghost story, although Polidori later wrote The Vampire, which influences vampire stories to this day. I have already made a video on Dracula, so you can watch by clicking the I button. At first, Mary had writer's block and was unable to come up with a good idea for a ghost story. Then she had a waking dream and she could not sleep nor could think. She had a dream which describes the visions as follows. I saw the pale student of unhallowed arts kneeling beside the thing he had put together. I saw the hideous phantasm of a man stretched out and then, on the working of some powerful engine, show signs of life. He sleeps, but he is awakened. He opens his eyes. Behold, the horrid thing stands at his bedside, opening his curtains and looking on him with yellow, watery, but speculative eyes. Mary then opened her eyes and realized that she had found her story and thought, what terrified her will terrify others, and thus she began working on it the next day. Plenty of real-life science inspired Shelley, including exploration of the North Pole and the then mysterious causes of its magnetism, and the work of chemist Sir Humphrey Davy, whose lecture Shelley had attended with her father when she was young. Another inspiration was a recently discovered phenomenon of galvanism, and how, when muscles contract due to stimulation by electricity. Shelley discussed galvanism while stuck inside in Switzerland, and those conversations contributed to Frankenstein. Before she started Frankenstein, Shelley gave birth to a daughter, who died just days later. In fact, only one of the Shelley's 4 children lived to adulthood. The suicide of her half-sister Fanny must have contributed to the novel as well. In the novel, Victor Frankenstein is a scientist. The monster remains unnamed and is referred to as monster, creature, demon, and it. But we all make the mistake of calling the monster Frankenstein. Mary made up the name Frankenstein. However, Frankenstein is a German name that means stone of the Franks. What's more, historian Radu Floresco claimed that the Shelley visited Castle Frankenstein on a journey up the Rhine River. While there, they learned about an alchemist named Conrad Dippel who had lived in the castle. He was trying to create an elixir called Dippel's oil, which would make people live for 100 years. Like Victor Frankenstein, Dippel was rumored to have dug up graves and experimented on the bodies. Not all historians are convinced there's a link. However, pointing out that there's no indication, Frankenstein had a castle in the novel and that Shelley never mentioned visiting the castle herself in any of her writing about her trip up the Rhine. When Frankenstein came out in 1818, many critics bashed it, but Gothic novels were all the rage and Frankenstein soon gained readers. In 1823, a play titled Presumption or the Fate of Frankenstein cemented the story's popularity. In 1831, a new version of the book was published, this time under Mary's name. With Frankenstein, Shelley was writing the first major science fiction novel, as well as inventing the concept of the mad scientist and helping establish what would become horror fiction. The influence of the book in popular culture is so huge that the term Frankenstein has entered common speech to mean something unnatural and horrendous. Mary went on to write other science fiction such as a short story Roger Dodsworth, The Reanimated Englishman, about a man who has been frozen in ice, and her novel The Last Man, about a survivor in a world destroyed by plague, from the same year. In 1910, Thomas Edison's studio made a one-reel, 15-minute film of Frankenstein and one of the first horror movies ever made. It was thought lost until it was rediscovered in the 1980s. Today, it has made its way to YouTube and is available for everyone to watch. Frankenstein, the story of a mad scientist who brings the dead back to life only to discover that he has created a monster, continues to be one of our most enduring horror stories, even though it's more than 200 years old. Well, that's it for today. I hope you're liking Nerdies Discoveries. Can't wait for the next video to learn more and be fascinated about. See you on the next. Bye.